So, hello, if you're here under this amazing full moon today, or if you're watching later on YouTube, welcome. Yeah, wow, I actually spent a couple of hours at my special place. He's like a quartz dragon in the sea, and I love to go and sit on his back. And I made a flower essence today, so I've spent like quite a lot of time really tuning in with the full moon and the energies about. Um, so I'm going to focus mostly on this being conjunct the star Algol, who is the head of the Medusa. And I want us to do an attunement, but I want to sort of give you some of the story of Medusa and a bit of the astrology before we do the attunement, because it's actually I've done this before with people and it freaked them out, tuning into Algol, because you basically, this is the head of Medusa after it's been cut off. But beheading is a huge initiatory theme. So rather than sort of taking it literally, is to see the possibility of initiation through Algol. And also, what I've been experiencing is like a deep soul collective recovery of our most rejected parts that are embodied by both Medusa and Lilith, who are connected with the star Algol. I mean, it's called like the most evil star, the most rejected star. So it's like it embodies everything kind of that we've rejected, but it's way beyond human even. And what I'm feeling as well is these cosmic waters coming through the Algol Stargate. And what I found myself doing this morning is merging those codes into the sea here. And there's major dragon lines connecting with this place through St. Michael's Mount. So it feels like those codes have gone out through the waters already, the cosmic codes merging with the earthly sea water codes. Yeah, and if you were here last week, I talked quite a bit about Veda Austin's new video with Pam Gregory about the Ortis and some of these incredible things they've been saying about water and its consciousness, and it's the love of the creator is in the water. So all of what I said last week is kind of flowing into this as well. Okay, so we're going to do a presentation and then we'll do an attunement. And then for those of you here, there'll be a time to have a chat and maybe share where this full moon is in your chart and what that means and stuff like that. So, okay. So I'm going to share. Where's it gone? Hang on a sec. Ah, I go like that. Okay, right. Probably going to end up on the last page. Let me just do the present button. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning. Okay, so I've called this, I'm using this term this year, intentional astrology, because I want us to kind of really think about how we consciously ride astrological waves, planetary patterns. So rather than just sort of taking it in on the mind level, is to actually harness the power of these transits in whatever way we're led to enhance ours and everyone else's lives. So this is a full moon. Those of you here are probably aware of this, but for for anyone kind of quite new to astrology, the moon cycle's a really great way to get into the ebb and flow of energy and rhythm on our planet. And it's easy to fall out of. So in astrology, each phase of the moon can make us more aware of the ebb and flow of life and help us live in this core cosmic rhythm. At the full moon, we have the most illuminated part of the cycle and its fulfillment. It's like the flowering in the plant kingdom. And this month, the moon is in Taurus. It's conjunct Uranus, who provides flashes of insight and initiatory liberation strikes. So this illumination, we've got the illumination of the full moon. We have Uranus, who's the lightning strike of, clarity. And we're also going to be talking about Algol, which is the head, the eyes of Medusa, which turn men to stone. She says laughingly, but we'll talk more about that in a bit. Okay, so I just wanted to touch into this new moon cycle started with the new moon, which was at 7 degrees Taurus, and Mars was opposing, Mars and Pandora were opposing Pluto. So there's a lot of energy of things being unlocked, things rising up from the subconscious, shocking kind of revelations. And the Sabian symbol for this degree was a woman of Samaria stand at the ancestral well, the meeting of the traditional past and of the creative spirit, pointing to the future. So this to me really confirms this intuitive feeling and downloading that some of you may be experiencing as well, that this new coding is coming in, it's coming into our water, in our body and on the earth. And the new coding, it can be quite stressful. It feels quite stressful to me anyway, because it's pushing out the old coding. And as it's pushing it out, it can be really like shadow in your face material. So at the end, I'd be curious to see if this is going on for any of you. Okay, so we come to this full moon, and the full moon is at 22 degrees Taurus. Here it is in my chart. The Sabian symbol is a white dove over troubled waters. And here we have, so Algol is aligned to 26 and 27 degrees Taurus. So we actually have an exact conjunction of Uranus and healing goddess Hygeia, the temple of dreaming. So this is an immensely healing portal, potentially, that we're in to heal the old shadow material. Okay, so this is Gene Key 23, which leads from complexity to simplicity is the gift, and quintessence is the city. So we did the meditation this morning. Danny's here, and the meditation was great. That thing where we're shaking everything out and getting down to our quintessence. I really love that. So we're following the sun through the 22nd, 23rd, sorry, gene key at the moment. So that was a lovely tune in to that energy, Danny. Okay, so you can see the moon is there right opposite the sun. That's when you have a full moon, the sun and moon are exactly opposite. And then we also have Juno here. So a lot of this is playing out through relationships. If you're in a relationship, then you're going to feel the intensity through that relationship. And if you're not in a relationship, the universe will bring you the person to stir it all up anyway. So sometimes friendships or work relationships, we don't get off by not being in a relationship. The cosmos will find a way of activating these things. Okay, so now I was very interested this month. Um, I was looking at Taraka, and sometimes Kim Gold has put some new ones off, and this one really jumped out at me. Penthesilea. I was like, who's Penthesilea? So she's at 25 degrees Leo at the moment, which is Gene Key 29, line 1, which has to do with heart-heartedness, commitment, and devotion. And you can see that she's actually what we call a sextile in astrology, 60 degrees away from Uranus and Hygeia and Algol. So there is a relationship. And so Penthesilea is an Amazonian queen. She's a warrior. And I'm going to read a little bit from Madeline Miller's blog about her that I really liked at the end. So I'm really feeling this energy. If we look at this, a white dove over troubled waters. I actually did an event with my partner on Saturday evening and to raise money for a school for Palestinian children in Bethlehem called Hope Flowers. It's like a peace school, and they train teachers to go out to all the schools through the West Bank and Gaza. And part of their mission is also about teaching ways to recover from collective trauma. So I have literally had this kind of white dove over troubled waters experience myself, and it was a fantastic evening. But there's also this side. Nature will always produce some symbolic expression of the currently important message for those who can read the signs, reading the mysterious symbols in nature. So, we really have to be going outside, slowed down, going to our special places or walking, if we are to perceive these signs from nature in the first place. And yeah, and I just love that really, because I feel like I'm in that flow all the time, and that's my life really. And as I go into some kind of trauma response in my body, some ancient coding that's now cracking open. There's always like a raven flew over me earlier today, which is my life work bird, the 47th gene key. And something always appears that's just so, like, just makes me so happy, really, when nature comes along. Okay, so here we have Perseus holding Medusa's head. So the star Algol is in the constellation of Perseus, and Perseus is holding the head. So Algol is the head of Medusa. So I want to focus on this little bit of the story because it's a strange bit of the story that I had never really got before I read this wonderful book called Stone Blind by Natalie Haynes. I really recommend you read it if you're into Medusa, because she puts a wonderful spin on things. So Medusa lives with her Gorgon sisters. They're proper Gorgons, they're immortal, but Medusa is half human, half Gorgon. So she has this beautiful hair, and her sisters have to kind of look after her. And they're all beings that come from sea monsters, actually, were their parents. So Medusa goes off one day to the temple of Athena, which has been built nearby. This is sort of in Libya, current day Libya, and she's raped by Neptune in the temple. So Athena, whose temple there's nothing she can do to Neptune really. So she takes it out on Medusa and she turns Medusa. Firstly, she comes along and she turns Medusa's hair, this beautiful hair, into serpents. And then she puts a curse on her that anything she looks at will turn to stone and die. So basically, Medusa is then condemned to live in this cave. Her sisters are outside, but she can no longer look at them. She can't even look at animals. You know, in the book, it's beautiful because she kills a scorpion first by mistake. And so she's afraid to go out because if she looks at birds or anything, they're all going to die. So she lives in her cave and this is a miserable, horrible life. Now along comes Perseus, who's also been sent by Athena and needs a Gorgon head. And Medusa's going to be the easiest by far of the Gorgons to kill, even though she has this ability to turn people to stone. He's given a mirror by Athena. You can see on his head he's wearing the special hat that Hermes gives him for invisibility. So he has all these, you know, all the gods help him to take out Medusa. I mean, this poor woman is just like really ganged up on. And yet, strangely, it's this act that brings her out of the cave, and she is then placed on the shield of Athena as like a battle warrior. Um, and so, in a really weird way, this is a liberation, it feels to me, of Medusa. And she becomes, you know, Pallas Athena is known as the warrior goddess. She becomes integrated into that warrior goddess. So it was very interesting to me that Pentelecia, the Amazon warrior goddess, is in this 60-degree relationship actually with Algol at the moment. And it feels like a real theme of women standing up for justice, standing up for equality, standing up. In order for this new coding to come into being, women need to stand in their integrity in it, and men need to be able to relate to women in it. And their male coding is obviously all changing as well. So it's in a dance together, you know, it's not like just the woman doing it. Like here, it was quite interesting how similar Perseus and Medusa look because it's all interconnected. As one changes, the other changes, and so we go. Okay, so this Madeline Miller, who wrote the book Circe, which we have dived into Circe quite a few times in this group, um, wrote this about Penthesilea. So Penthesilea ruled the Amazons during the years of the Trojan War, and for most of that time stayed away from the conflict. So she basically went from being neutral. However, after Achilles killed Hector, Penthesilea decided it was time for her Amazons to intervene, and the group rode to the rescue of the Trojans, who were, after all, fellow Anatolians. So there's an interesting parallel for me here because for most of the war in the Middle East, I've tried to sort of stay in my neutral mind about it and understand what is going on for each side. But you know, the event we did was very clearly about showing people what is happening for the Palestinian people at the moment. So it's almost like I myself have gone through this decision to go from being neutral to being actively talking about what I perceive as injustice. So, carrying on with the quote, fearless, she blazed through the Greek ranks, laying waste to their soldiers. I love Virgil's glorious description of her in battle. The ferocious Penthesilea, gold belt fastened beneath her exposed breasts, leads her battle line of Amazons with their crescent light shields, which are the moon shields, a warrioress, a maiden who dares to fight with men. That last bit, like I feel it in my body, who dares to fight with men. And I don't want to go out picking a fight with men, but I do want to feel like I'm in my power. And if I really feel something is unjust, that I'm strong enough to say it and to stand up for it. Okay, so before we do the attunement, I'm doing this whole thing with Algol and the five bodies of Lilith, which include Algol. It's not going to be on Soul Tribe, it's going to be on Unlock Your Design. And I will share some information on Soul Tribe about it. So if you're more interested in Lilith and Algol, then this is going to be really amazing coming through the elements. Next Monday, we're going to do Nemesis, who is our inner enemy, and perhaps focus more on the inner warrior, the warrior who is battling with the demons within. And that old coding brings many, many demons, in my case anyway, to the surface. And just to let you know that I'm going to France. I'm off on a Mary Magdalene experience to the south of France for 3 weeks. So there'll be no astrology 26th of May and 2nd or 9th of June. And I may well actually come back with Mary Magdalene on the 16th or whatever's happened in France. It will be the first thing that I share with you, picking up these themes as well, how they unfold. Okay, so some of you may be driving or whatever, but if you're able to safely, let's just firstly come into our bodies and connecting with each other. We're across 4 countries here today in the East and West Coast of America as well. So taking a nice deep breath. Just feeling into the infinite space all around us, above, to the left and right. Keep your breathing nice and deep, maybe slowing everything down. And feeling that infinite space that is also within ourselves. And every atom is a black hole. So the infinite space within, and especially the water within, opening to receive. And we can use the Jinki 2 mudra for water, holding the hands out to receive. And we take in our imagination to Algol, this bright shining star, the full moon illuminating Uranus, Hygeia lined up in a straight line leading up to Algol. Imagine her looking back at us, Medusa. And this is in the element of ether. It's very cold, mysterious out there in the stars. Taking a moment to tune in to Medusa's head, initiated Medusa. Perhaps in losing her head, she also loses her fear in this beheading experience. We often see in Celtic mythology how magical beings are initiated through beheading. So just tuning in to the highest possibilities of what Algol represents behind trauma of the human experience, of the feminine experience, lies a new coding of the Aquarian age. Holding our hands out to receive, making a bridge between ether and earth, a stellar world and our human body, with water as the fluid and flowing intermediary, carrier of photonic light, messages, coding, creating doorways, a powerful doorway in consciousness. And calling forth this warrior nature in ourselves. Maybe it's fighting the masculine within our intellect, our mind, our need to be active all the time. And just moving into the receptive, pausing, noticing beauty, receiving, listening, being in action, inactive, waiting for the exact right moment to move, to act, having the patience to wait, having the courage to watch things unfold and not have to jump in and try and control things, just letting it all unfold. Breathing in trust. Letting the trust strengthen the integrity of your body, your biological form, to receive easily and effortlessly. Feeling the stillness of space within your being. Letting the photonic light of the cosmic waters penetrate deep into your body. Just breathing to allow that in under the light of this full moon. It's beautiful. We have the moon is pulling the water in our bodies. Same moon pulling all the water in our bodies. Isn't that a wonderful thought? And then reaching out to the stars. And on the way, we've got Hygeia in the asteroid belt. We've got Uranus right out there, the outer edges of the solar system, all connecting up, letting the healing land gently in our hearts and in our bodies. From being the most rejected to being the most loved. Cosmic Father and Mother holding us, holding these rejected parts of self, being rejected in human consciousness for thousands of years. Things like imagination, bit craziness, dance, right-brained ways of being in the world. Stepping beyond the dullness, the problematic nature of the intellect, which turns everything to rubble, and just letting the light shine inside us, being who we were meant to be all along. So wonderful. We get to work with Danny's meditation for 40 days as well, which just feels like it's totally embedding this message into us, shaking out all that is essentially old coding, the wound of rejection, very powerful, but it's also old coding. We can live without it. So gently bring your hands maybe to the prayer mudra over your heart. Let's feel your body. Bring all of you back into your body. If there's any parts of you wandering around out there in space, bring them back into the body. Gently open your eyes when you're ready. So I'm going to stop the recording there, and then yeah, we can have a little share, see how everyone's getting on, checking in.